This is Swati, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today's lecture will discuss the applications of diode and the switching times of diode. So before going to this discuss about the diode switching times, so we'll see some few notations that are required for the for understanding the concept of diode switching times. So that is, as you all know that PN junction diode consists of two types of semiconducting materials, that is P-type semiconducting material and N-type semiconducting material. When we place them together, the charge carriers will be moving from one P-type to N-type and N-type to P-type. So now, for understanding this diode switching times, let us consider a few notations here. So those are the majority charge carriers in P-type is the holes, that is represented with PP0. So as we all know that the P-type and N-type semiconductors are extrinsic semiconductors, where we are going to add trivalent impurities to the pure semiconductor so that we will be having majority charge carriers, that means holes as the majority charge carriers, whereas minority charge carriers are electrons. So the majority charge carriers of P-type semiconducting material, which are the holes, is represented as PP0, where PP0, this knot represents under equilibrium condition. So when no voltage is applied to the PN junction diode, the majority charge carrier concentration in the P-type material, which is the holes, is represented with PP0. And similarly, the majority carriers in N-type semiconducting material, which are the electrons, and it is represented with N0, which is represented with N0. Next, the minority. So minority, as I told you that in a semiconducting material, we'll have majority charge carriers as well as minority charge carriers. So the minority carriers in P-type semiconducting material, which are the electrons, and that is represented with NP0. So where N represents the type of charge carriers and P represents the material and O represents under equilibrium condition. Next, the minority charge carriers in the N-type semiconducting material, which are the holes, and it is represented with PN0. And whenever the charge carriers move from one place to the other place, there will be some excess minority charge carrier concentration at the junction in N side as well as P side, and that is represented with Pn minus Pn0, where Pn0 is the steady state value. And excess minority carrier concentration in N-type semiconducting mark near the junction is given by Np minus Np0, where Np is the minority charge carrier concentration in P-type material, where in P-type the minority charge carriers are electrons, which is represented with Np minus the equilibrium value or else a steady state value will give you the excess minority charge carrier concentration in N-type material. So these are the basic representation that we must be aware when we are discussing the diode switching times. So let us consider a PN junction diode under forward bias condition. So what happens when a PN junction diode is forward bias? So here this is a PN junction diode. So how to provide the biasing such that the diode is forward biased? So as we all know that PN junction diode consists of P-type semiconducting material as well as N-type semiconducting material. If we connect the positive terminal of the battery to the P-type material and negative terminal of the battery to the N-type material, then the biasing applied is called as forward biasing. So here, now, as we all know that under forward bias condition, So as a biasing applied is the positive terminal is connected to the p-type material and negative terminal is connected to the n-type material. The majority charge carriers of p-type material, which are the holes, those are positively charged, which will be repelled by the positive terminal of the battery, and they will be trying to move towards the junction. And also the majority charge carriers of the n-type semiconducting material are the electrons, which are again repelled by the negative terminal of the battery, and hence they will always try to cross the junction and will be entering into the p-type semiconducting bar. So that means when a p-n junction diode is forward biased, the holes, which are the majority charge carriers of p-type semiconducting material, are repelled by the terminal of the battery and they will be moving towards the junction, and they'll cross the junction once the applied potential is equals to the cut-in. Once the applied voltage exceeds the cut-in voltage, then the charge carriers, majority charge carriers, will cross the junction. That is, the holes will cross from p-type to n-type and the electrons will cross from n-type to p-type. So here now, as the electrons are moving from n-type to p-type, that electrons, when they enter into the p-type material, they will become minority charge carriers in p-type semiconducting bar. Similarly, when the holes are entering the n-type material after crossing the junction from p side, then the holes, which are the majority charge carriers of p-type semiconducting bar, will now become the minority charge carriers of n-type semiconducting bar. So that is why here we have a graph which is showing the carrier concentration, or is the variation of carrier concentration when the forward biasing is applied to the p-n junction diode. So here, this is the x-axis, we are representing the distance, and y-axis we are representing the carrier concentration. So here we have a straight line which is representing the junction, and to the left of this straight line it is indicated with p-type semiconducting bar, and to the right of this line that is representing the junction, we have an n-type semiconducting bar. And here we are considering that the n-type semiconducting material is heavily doped when compared to the p-type semiconducting bar. So here, under equilibrium condition, what happens? So let us consider under equilibrium. Before discussing about the forward bias condition, under equilibrium condition, we will see the carrier concentration. We will see the carrier concentration. So here, the carrier concentration, here this is distance x. So we don't have any positive axis as negative axis. It is just representing the distance when we are moving away from the junction into the p side and also into the n side. So here, as I told you, that n-type material is heavily doped. Heavily doped. That means the carrier concentration will be high in case of n-type semiconducting bar. So here now, the carrier concentration, as I told you, that the extrinsic semiconducting material will have majority charge carriers as well as minority charge carriers. So now let us represent the majority charge carriers in n-type semiconducting bar. This is n-type semiconducting bar, and this is my junction, and this is my p-type semiconducting material. As the n-type material is heavily doped, so the majority charge carriers are more in n-type when compared to the p-type material. So here, this line represents the majority charge carrier concentration in n-type material, which is nothing but Nn naught, which is nothing but Nn naught. And coming to the minority charge carriers in n-type semiconducting bar. So here, the minority carrier concentration I am representing with dashed line, whereas the majority carrier concentration I am representing with thick line. So here, the minority charge carrier concentration in n-type semiconducting bar is Pn naught. Next, coming to the p side, under equilibrium condition, the majority charge carriers in p-type are pp naught. Okay, because the majority charge carriers in p-type material are holes, so it is represented with pp naught. And I have shown the difference between the concentration here, the carrier concentration. As the n-type material is heavily doped, the carrier concentration is high, when a little high when compared to the pp naught here. And similarly, the minority charge carrier concentration in p-type semiconducting bar, which is represented again with a dashed line, that is given by the minority charge carriers in p-type material are electrons, so np naught. So this is the distribution of, or else the carrier concentration in a p-n junction diode under equilibrium condition. So here now let us consider this as a junction when x is equals to 0. So now what happens when I apply a forward bias to the p-n junction diode? So now, as I told you that the majority charge carriers are repelled by the terminals of the battery, they will be crossing the junction and will be entering into the other side. So now here near the junction, the carrier concentration, so as the electrons are coming from n side to the p side, the carrier concentration will be more near the junction. The minority carrier concentration near the junction will be more. And once they enter into the p-type material, once the electrons enter into the p-type material, they will recombine with the holes present in the p-type material, and hence the minority carrier concentration will become reduced as we are moving away from the junction in the p side. So that is why that minority carrier concentration in the p side is represented like this. So here at the junction it will be more, and once they enter into the p-type material, so they will recombine with the holes, the electrons will recombine with the holes, and hence the minority carrier concentration will be reduced as we are moving away from the junction. So that is np here. So as the minority charge carrier, so as the electrons are entered from n-type to p-type, now the electrons becomes minority charge carriers in case of p-type material. So that is represented with np. And here the excess minority charge carrier concentration, already we have np naught minority carriers in the p-type material, and now due to the forward biasing applied, there is some injection of minority charge carriers in the junction, which is represented with np, and hence the excess minority charge carriers on the p side of the p-n junction diode is given by np minus np naught, and which is exponentially decreasing as we are moving from the junction. As the charge carriers are moving away from the junction, so the carrier concentration, the minority carrier concentration will be exponentially decreasing. So this is represented like this graphically. Now coming to the p-type material, so as it is a forward bias, so the holes which are the majority charge carriers of p-type material will cross the junction, and they will now enter into the n-type material. Now they become minority charge carriers in n-type material, and that minority charge carriers represent in n-type material is represented with Pn. This is the injected carriers from p-type to n-type. So the same thing happens once they enter into the n-type. Once the holes from p-type to p-type material enters a n-type semiconducting material, they will recombine with the electrons, and the carrier concentration will be decreasing exponentially as they are moving away from the junction. So here the minority charge carrier concentration in n-type material under equilibrium condition is Pn naught, and now the injected carrier concentration has become Pn. So now the excess minority charge carrier concentration in n-type semiconducting material is given by Pn minus Pn naught, whereas the minority charge carrier concentration in p-type material is given by Np minus Np naught. In p-type material it is given by Pn minus Pn naught. So this is the minority charge carrier concentration near the junction, and it is exponentially decreasing as we are moving away from the junction in both p-type and n-type material. So now, under reverse bias condition, what happens? So under reverse bias condition, so as we are applying the biasing such that the negative terminal of the battery is connected to the p-type semiconducting material and positive terminal of the battery is connected to the n-type semiconducting material. Then what happens? So here the majority charge carriers of p-type semiconducting bar are holes which are attracted by the negative terminal of the battery, and the electrons which are the majority charge carriers of n-type semiconducting bar will be attracted by the positive terminal of the battery. So here, as they are attracted by the positive terminals of the battery, the majority charge carriers are moving away from the junction and are moving towards the terminals of the battery. Whereas the minority charge carriers, so in p-type, minority charge carriers are electrons, which will now try to cross the junction because these minority charge carriers are attracted by the positive terminal of the battery, and they will be trying to cross the junction and will be entering into the n-type semiconducting bar. And similarly, what happens? In n-type, the holes are the majority charge carriers. In n-type, holes are the minority charge carriers, and they will also attracted by the negative terminal of the battery and they will be crossing the junction. So that means under reverse bias condition, the majority charge carriers does not conduct any current through the junction. Only there is a current flow through the junction due to the minority charge carriers. And that current, as you all know, is known as reverse saturation current or else leakage current. So here now, and that means, and I'm going to show the minority carrier concentration near the junction under reverse bias condition. So here, this is the graph which is showing the minority carrier concentration under reverse bias condition. So here, under equilibrium condition, the minority charge carriers near in p-type semiconducting bar is np0, whereas in n-type semiconducting bar is represented with pn0. So now, under reverse bias condition, so these minority charge carriers will be crossing the junction and they will be recombined, and hence the minority charge carrier concentration will now be becoming 0. So here, this is the graph, and here showing the carrier concentration near the junction, how it is moving. And so now, so as we have seen the carrier concentration under forward bias, under equilibrium condition and reverse bias condition. Now let us see what do you mean by diode switching times. So here, diode switching time means whenever we apply a voltage of this kind to a PN junction diode, you can observe that in this waveform, there is an abrupt change in the input voltage from maximum to the minimum, or else positive to the negative. That means the input voltage is changing suddenly from maximum value to the minimum value. So in that case, if this kind of input is given to the diode, so during a positive voltage applied to the anode of the diode should be on, and at time t is equals to t1, as the voltage is suddenly changing to minus VR, which makes the diode D2 reverse biased, and hence it should become off. So that means at time t1, the diode has to change its state from on to off. So for an ideal diode, it will happen, but in practice, the change of state of a diode from on to the off, or else from forward bias to the reverse bias will not happen instantaneously. It will change. It will take some time to change its state from on to off, or else off to on. So, but for an ideal diode, it happens. That means that whenever the voltage changes suddenly, the diode also changes its state from on to off and off to on. But in practice, diode requires some time to change its state from on to off, and that time required for switching from on to off or off to on is defined as diode switching times. So now we'll analyze what happens if this kind of voltage is applied to the diode. So here, if we observe the previous diagrams here, so this is the reverse bias condition. Under the reverse bias condition, what is happening? The minority carrier concentration is becoming 0 near the junction. But under forward bias condition, there is excess minority charge carrier concentration near the junction. That means under forward bias condition, the minority charge carrier concentration is, excess minority charge carrier concentration is high in case of high near the junction. And whenever I want to change the state from forward bias to the reverse bias, so what we want to do, as we have excess minority charge carrier concentration near the junction, we have to remove that excess carrier concentration near the junction in order to change its state from on to off. So here now, that means what is happening under forward bias condition, that means during this period, the diode is forward biased. So in that case, we have carrier concentration near the junction is this one. So this is the carrier concentration near the junction. So this is P type and this is N type. So we have, this is a minority carrier concentration here. So in N type, the minority carrier concentration is represented with Pn0, and this is Pn. So the excess minority carrier concentration will be given by Pn minus Pn0. Whereas in this one, this is Np0 and this one is Np, and the excess minority carrier concentration is Np minus Np0. Np minus Np0. So this is when the junction is forward biased. So now, so that means during VF, the diode is forward biased, and the majority charge carriers cross the junction, and they will become minority charge carriers on the other side of the junction. And the carrier concentration will be decaying exponentially as we are moving away from the junction. So here at time t1, suddenly the voltage will be dropped to minus VR. Voltage is dropped to minus VR. And hence the diode has to become reverse biased. But here, as we have excess minority charge carrier concentration, in order to make the diode reverse biased, we need to remove the excess minority charge carrier concentration near this. So for going into the off state or else reverse bias condition, that means now at VF, the diode is under steady state forward bias condition. Steady state forward bias condition, when input voltage Vi is equals to plus Vf. And when input voltage Vi is equals to minus Vr, it has to reach to steady state reverse bias condition. steady state reverse bias condition. So in order to achieve this, first it has to go to the equilibrium condition, and then it has to go to the, directly we cannot change the minority, we cannot remove the minority carrier concentration near the junction. So first it will go to equilibrium state, and then it will be entering into the reverse bias condition. This is the equilibrium condition, and the minority charge carrier concentration, which is NP naught here, and this is PN naught. So X. Okay. So now first it has to go to the equilibrium state, and then it has to go to the reverse bias condition, in which the excess minority carrier concentration will now become 0. So this process will take some time. This process will take some time. Okay. So this is N type, and this is P type, and here this is my NP naught, and this is my PN naught. Okay, so this is under reverse bias condition. So what I want to say, whenever there is an abrupt change in the input voltage from positive to the negative, it will not directly change its state from on to the off, because first it has to go to the equilibrium condition or else equilibrium state, then it has to go to the reverse bias, and then that is a steady state reverse bias condition. So this entire process requires some time. So that means it will require some time to remove the excess minority charge carrier near the junction when the reverse voltage is applied to the diode instantaneously. So here, let us draw the waveforms. Let us see the waveforms of the voltage across the diode and current flowing through the diode for the voltage applied like this, that is VF and minus VR. If we apply this kind of input voltage to the diode as shown in circuit, then what is the current flowing through the diode and what is the voltage drop across the diode, and how much time it is required to change its state from on to off, we'll see now. So here, before T1, the input voltage is plus VF, which makes the diode D forward biased. So here, now, as we have excess minority charge carriers near the junction, as the diode is now forward biased due to the applied voltage plus VF. So now, this is the waveform which is showing the excess minority charge carrier concentration in N-type semiconducting material. This is N-type. In N-type semiconducting material, this one shows the excess minority charge carrier concentration. So up to T1, we have excess minority charge carrier concentration near the junction, that is represented with Pn minus Pn naught. And during this plus Vf, as the diode is forward bias, so the current through the junction is due to the majority charge carriers, and hence the more current will be flowing through the diode, and that current is given by If is equals to Vf by R. If is equals to Vf by R, where Vf is the forward voltage applied. And the voltage drop across the diode, that is Vd, in under forward bias condition is less. It is approximately equals to the cut-in voltage of diode, which is 0.7 in case of silicon diode, and it is 0.3 in case of germanium. So this is nothing but V gamma, approximately equals to V gamma. So this is before T1. Now at time T1, what happens? The voltage is suddenly changing to minus VR. The voltage is suddenly changing to minus VR. At this instant, the minority carrier concentration, as a diode is applied with reverse bias, in order to change its state from steady state forward bias condition to the steady state reverse bias, it takes some time because it has to remove the excess minority charge carriers present at the junction. So, as it takes some time to remove that excess minority charge carrier concentration, so which is exponentially decaying here. Now, so as the voltage applied is reverse, so the current will now be flowing in the reverse direction, and hence we will get a negative current, that is minus IR, and which will be equals to minus VR by R. So as the voltage has become negative, it makes the diode reverse biased, and hence now the current flowing, now the flow of current is due to the minority charge carriers across the junction, which is represented with negative current. Whereas under forward bias condition, the current is due to the majority charge carriers. That is why we have represented it as positive. And as a current in the reverse bias condition is due to minority charge carriers, we are representing it as negative. So minus, and the current under reverse bias condition can be calculated by the formula minus VR by R. So now, as it requires, the diode required some time to remove the excess minority charge carriers near the junction. So here, the time required for the diode to remove the excess minority charge carrier concentration is called as storage time. So this is TS. So during which the process of removing the excess minority charge carrier concentration is done here. Once the minority charge carrier concentration is removed, then it will try to reach that means the diode is now reverse biased, and now it will take some time to reach to its steady state reverse bias condition, and the time required for the diode to reach the steady state reverse bias condition is called as transition time. So the total time, that is the storage time plus transition time, is called as reverse recovery time. So that means this entire time is a required time for the diode to change its state from steady state forward bias condition to the steady state reverse bias condition. So which is called as reverse recovery time. And here, as a diode is so at time t is equals to t1, the excess minority charge carriers is going to be reduced to 0. So the voltage drop is also reduced. Once the excess minority charge carrier concentration is reduced, it enters into the reverse bias condition, and under reverse bias condition, the voltage drop across the diode will be negative, and it is represented like this. So these are the waveforms which are representing the switching times required by the diode for changing its state from on to off or off to on. So here you have to remember the time required by the diode to change its state from on to off, that is a reverse recovery time, is very much high when compared to the forward recovery time. So forward recovery time is the time required by the diode to change its state from steady state forward bias condition to the steady state reverse bias condition to the steady state forward bias condition. So here, this is about the diode switching times. So at time t1, as we have observed from the waveforms, at time t1, the diode is suddenly brought to off state from on state, and it is known as storage time. So that means as the diode requires some time to remove excess minority charge carrier near the junction, and the time required to remove that excess minority charge carrier concentration is called as storage time. So storage time is a time required to remove the excess minority carrier charge, and During this time, the negative current is flowing through the junction because the voltage applied becomes negative at time t is equals to t1, which becomes minus VR, and hence the diode is reverse biased, due to which it causes negative current, and which can be calculated from the formula minus IR is equals to minus VR by R. Next, at time t, we have the time between T2 to T3. At time T2, the excess charge carrier concentration has been removed. Now from time T2 to T3, it is defined as a transition time, where the transition time is a time required for the diode to completely get open circuited. That means to completely enter into the steady state reverse bias condition. So that is the time required for the diode to completely become open circuited is called as transition time. So even once the minority charge carrier concentration has been removed, it takes some time to enter into its steady state reverse bias condition, and that time is known as transition time. Now, so the time taken by the diode to get completely open circuited is called as reverse recovery time, which is given by the storage time plus transition time. That is the addition of storage time and transition time. Whereas in reverse, that is to get to on condition from off condition, it takes less time, which is called as forward recovery time. So we have to identify that the reverse recovery time is very much greater than the forward recovery time, and a diode works as a better switch if this reverse recovery time is made less. That means a switch means we can use this diode as a major application of this diode is a switch. In order to use this diode as a switch, we have to make the reverse recovery time as small as possible, so that the switching can be done faster, and hence we can use it as a switch. So now coming to the summary. So from the discussion, we have seen that the storage time, it is a time required for the diode to remain in the conduct state even in the reverse biased condition. So that means the time required by the diode to remain in the conduction state even the applied voltage is reversed or else reverse biased. So that is called as storage time. Next, coming to the transition time, the time elapsed in returning back to the state of non-conduction, that is steady state reverse bias, is called as transition time. Reverse recovery time, the time required for the diode to change from steady state forward bias to the steady state reverse bias is called as reverse recovery time. Next, forward recovery time, the time required for the diode to change its state from steady state reverse bias condition to the steady state forward bias condition is known as forward recovery time. So that is about the diode switching times. So we have to understand that the forward recovery time is very less when compared to the reverse recovery time. That means the diode can enter into on state from off state faster when compared to the time when we look at the time required for the diode to change its state from off to on to off state. So here, if we can reduce the reverse recovery time, we can use the diode as a switch. So now coming to the applications of diode. So we have various applications in which the diode switching circuits are used. So the first one is high-speed rectifying circuit. This is a major application of a diode in which the diode can be used as a rectifier to convert an AC supply into DC. Next, high-speed switching circuits. So as I told you that by reducing the reverse recovery time, we can use that diode as a switch so that we can use the diode in high-speed switching circuits wherever the switching can be done faster. Next, RF receivers. This is a radio frequency receivers. So this is a major application in communication field. And general purpose applications. We can use a diode. We can find we can find more applications for diode in general purpose applications, and even consumer applications. We can use a diode based on the switching, based on in its switching characteristics, and automotive applications and telecom applications. Also, we can use this diode. So these are the basic applications of diodes in which we can use the switching characteristics as a major operation of a diode. I hope you are clear with this diode switching times. That's all for this session. Thank you one and all.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.